Well, greetings, shower door people. Welcome back to another episode of Shower Door Professionals streaming live here on Facebook and in the Zoom call. If you're here, congratulations. You made it. You made it to the call. If you're not on the call, you're probably late. Sorry. Try again next week. But hey, we got a pretty good crowd here. Thanks for showing up and being prompt. It's always good, if you're a shower door pro to be prompt. That's what people are looking for. And as you know, we meet here every week, Wednesday evening, 5:30 Pacific time, to talk about shower doors, shower door business, marketing, education, safety. Safety is a big one. And, everything that has to do with the shower door business. So if that's what you're about, you made it. You're in the right place. And if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to give us a thumbs up or a like or whatever the young people do these days, so that we know that you appreciate it. If you make a comment, that's good too. Tell all your friends. It's what's happening. So hey, yeah, we were having a little discussion before the call officially launched. Adrian was talking a little bit about using silicone. One of my least favorite things to do on a frame shower enclosure. You guys know my opinion about it, but what do you guys do? I mean, when it comes to like waterproofing or water redirecting or whatever it is that you're doing to your frameless shower enclosures to mitigate the escape of water. Oh yeah, and actually, before we get into all that, I do want to check in with the board here, board of directors and see, is there anything that we need to talk about, like just to announce or anything like that? Christine, I see you're out there. Is there anything we need to talk about before we get into this call?
Hey guys,
Hi.
Shower Door Professionals Co-op exists. It is thriving. I wasn't on the board meeting this week. I'm so sorry, board members. But it sounds like you guys held it down, know exactly what's going on. So I'm going to kick it over to Lana, who's going to actually give you the update this week. I think. Is that okay, Lana? I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh,
Anna,
yeah,
awesome.
sure. Let me think. We talked about, Shannon spoke about where we are with the accounting. She is going to be sending out some invoices soon for the official members that we have, just via email. So if you haven't paid your minimum amount to buy your one share, that's basically what the money goes for, is the one share, which is $1,200. And she'll be sending out those invoices soon. And then you'll have the option of how you want to pay. It'll give you an option of, I'm not sure what the name of the program is. It's something different I've never used before. Do y'all remember, Chris, do you remember what the name of that was?
I'm not sure, but Shannon's here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I couldn't see. Go ahead, Shannon. You can finish your update.
We'll be looking for ACH payments.
Okay.
But we're just wrapping up the membership agreement because we need a signed membership agreement to become a member. So we've just got a little bit of a check-in on a couple of items with the lawyer. But let's see, a couple of people have received my text message that says, hurry, 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 last chance. Let's call it Black Friday for joining the co-op. So we have founding members will be those members that join by the end of the year. And joining means, being really officially saying yes, even if you don't have the actual payment in yet. But we want our founding members to get a little bit of extra, so you only pay for the shares, the $1,200, no annual fees. If you join in 2025, it's $600 for the first year. And then it's going to go to $800 is where we're looking at having it land. So hurry, 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 sale ends soon. Yeah. text today. Yeah, if you want to check that out, what you do is you go to the Shower Door Professionals Co-op and you click on the members section and click the becoming a member or something like that. Something like that.
Just go to
Should be pretty easy.
showerdoorprofessionals.com/members, and that'll take you
Yeah.
right to the spot.
I should have kicked it over to the announcer.
No, it's all right. This is great.
Tell the folks how to join. Thanks, Chris.
I don't want to make it seem too like organized and stuff. Then people, No, it's
Okay.
great. That's great.
Right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay.
So
And
yeah.
then we talked about the briefly about the membership committee and where we are at with it. And right now we don't really have anybody to vet at this point. I think Greg was the last person that Shannon and Christina added to the list this week. I think he had a little glitch in getting things processed, but worked through that. And so he's officially on the spreadsheet now. So so we're good. We got Greg fixed. So right now we're just waiting for new applications, and we expect it to be a little slow during the holidays. But as soon as we get some new applications, we're gonna process those, and then we'll go from there. We'll do the process of vetting them, calling them, and having a conversation with them to verify everything. And then if it goes through, we'll send them a congratulations letter that they're officially a member. And then Shannon sends them a nice little certificate, and then she'll send them an invoice.
Mhm.
And that's basically
Yeah.
how that
Pretty much
works.
covers it, right? Awesome.
Invoice first. You don't get a certificate until we get the invoice.
Oh,
No.
I'm sorry. I got those
Like, I got
backwards.
it.
Okay, yes, once you do that, okay. I stand corrected.
Cool.
And yeah, and
Yeah,
then we spoke
that's pretty
briefly
good.
about True Light had reached out to me and said that they were interested in coming on one of our Wednesday night programs.
Well, that'll be
And
fun.
yeah, and so I sent an email to y'all last night. But anyway, I spoke with Jason. Let's see, what's his last name? Jason, his name Keister. And he is basically over all 24 plants in the US for the Envision team. And the Envision is just the heavy glass shower doors.
Nice.
That's all they do. And so he was very impressed, but he had never heard of us before. He was impressed with our numbers, how large we were. And so he definitely wants to come on a show, but he would like for Brittany Perkins, who is the lady that actually developed their software, True Showers is their program. So they have their own software.
Cool.
And he said he'll be in the background, but she's a really great spokesperson for them because she knows the program inside and out. And so he felt confident, about that. And I did tell him a few details about it. And then I told him that I would probably at this point hand it over to Christina and let her and Brittany get together and talk about the details.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of hit the highlights. I really don't want to
that was
rehash
it.
the whole meeting here because
but that was it.
Yeah.
So we're expecting a guest next month.
Yeah, we'll have some guests and stuff. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Learn some stuff about them. They can learn some stuff about us.
Yeah. So that's all I have.
Thanks, you guys. Good job. Good job.
Hey, Chris,
Yes.
Ryan sent a message there about being in Canada and accepting members. And I think in one of the meetings we discussed that would just be a US thing, but I'm open to Canada if we're able to.
Hey, yeah, why not? If we can think about it, we can obviously talk about it, and
yeah,
we're not limited.
Nobody's gonna stop us or anything.
No,
so I think
I'd like to see them try.
Okay. All right.
Some legal things that we have to think about if we do that. But so it's not something we can do right now immediately, but it's something we can definitely work towards sooner rather than later.
Mhm.
Why don't we check on that for Ryan and, because that's cool. And the immediate benefit, I think one will be, we'll start including you in our linking and all that for our websites and maybe boost you up a little bit. And, I'm not sure what other immediate benefits we might have.
Yeah, so as soon as that payment comes through, just a quick recap, we have the certificate and all of that and the invoice, but you're also going to show up as a member on the website, which is a link and backlink to improve your search engine optimization. And then you'll also be added to another Facebook page, which is not meant to replace this page at all. It's just where we have co-op specific communication about joining committees and other things related to the co-op, just so we don't bombard this group with co-op stuff. So if you want to be involved in that as well and just have the like upfront knowing what's going on, go ahead and fill out that form on the website and join us, and we'll keep you in the loop.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, Josh was asking the question about if there can be more than one member in a given marketplace. And the answer to that is yes. That's the short answer.
Yep.
So yeah, there definitely will be, multiple people in, that will overlap, but
And there already are. So Lake Country Glass and Mirror, for example, is a member in Georgia, and my dad and I at the Shower Door Guy are also members in Georgia. And so, there's no problem with that. We're friends and, call each other and do all that stuff. So a lot of FAQs on the website as well that go through a lot of these commonly asked questions. So if you want more information about that, please take a look at the FAQs on the website, but you can also reach out to anyone on the board and we can discuss in further detail.
that's it. It's like keep your friends close and keep your competition closer. They're gonna be in business anyway, right? And they're gonna be in your area and they're gonna be in business anyway. Might as well have everybody in the co-op where we can keep an eye on each other, So, and help each other, really. I mean, it's all about cooperation. That's what this group is based on, was founded on, has thrived on that whole principle of like us being together, helping each other out. It's okay if we compete. We don't have to always like each other all the time, but like, it's been hugely beneficial to me personally and many, many people in the group, having this group to, to lean on each other. And co-op is just kind of the realization of that becoming something bigger and more specific to help grow our businesses, really. So. Wow.
Chris,
And based on that principle, I would just like to give Christina a shout out. Thank you for assisting. She was humble and kind enough to assist me a little bit last week with that raked panel that I was talking about. And I just want to say thank you for that. I haven't put the replacement in yet, but it's due to go in next week. I'm confident. I went ahead and made a wooden template and took it over there and checked it. So I'm pretty sure it's going to work out. It appears that it was some type of software issue in the FHC program. I have yet to reach out to Danny Donahue to talk to him about it, but thank you for helping out. Appreciate it.
No problem. I hope it works out. I'm sure it will. And but don't thank me yet. Let me know how it goes.
All right. I'll
Preliminary thanks. Awesome. That's what I'm talking about.
I haven't met Joshua. I'm sure you've been on the call before, I guess, and my apologies, but I just want to find out, can we give him a minute?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Introduce himself. Okay.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, my name is Josh Rosenfield. I'm based outside of Boston, actually. My company is also called Country Glass, so there may be some added confusion down the line in that co-op. I don't know. But I've been in the business just for about 10, 11 months now. I bought this business in January. We do shower doors mainly, but also IU and all kinds of flat glass. Yeah, it's been quite an 11 months, but I found this group in my due diligence process when I was considering buying the company. So I feel like you're all kind of celebrities to me a little bit. I've watched some of these past episodes. But yeah, this has been very helpful, and I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you here, man.
Nice.
Thanks for
Welcome.
finding out.
Welcome.
Thanks very
Wicked
much.
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, congratulations. I think of that old thing about like the boat owner. You've ever heard the saying about the boat owner? Like the happiest 2 days in the life of a boat owner, the day they buy the boat and then the day they sell the boat.
Sell it. Yeah,
True.
So
get that.
welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, hey, yeah, getting back to, we were talking about, sort of starting to talk about. Adrian was telling us a little story about, having some issues with leaking, and caulking and leaking and stuff like that. And I'm just curious, what are your approaches to the various waterproofing issues when it comes to heavy glass shower enclosures? I mean, do you have a specific thing that you do each time? Is it a case by case basis? Me, it's like if I cannot use any silicone at all, I mean, you always have, you have to caulk the holes, right? You have to caulk your screw holes and stuff like that. But I mean, usually would try to just educate the customer in the fact that, hey, this is a frameless shower enclosure, probably not going to be watertight. You're probably going to need a bath mat. There's no way to really predict, how much water might escape. Shouldn't be a lot, but you can probably expect a little bit. And then just kind of steer them in that direction so that their expectations are managed. That's kind of always been my approach to it, but I know people have different approaches, and not, sometimes you just, I don't know. What do you guys think? What are you guys doing out there?
We
Brian-
caulk most of our showers. A lot of our showers they're big shower designs in small shower areas. We get a lot of that. Like, we don't have large showers out here too much. Most of the ones we do are pretty small. And customers are always concerned about water coming out. The conversation's always had that it's not going to be 100% watertight. You're going to get some water out. We'll do our best to help contain what we can. And we'll caulk them. If it's a larger shower, I'll not caulk it. I'll ask the customer if they want it. Otherwise, I'll not do it because I think it's a cleaner look. But most of the time, that's like the main concern from people is, are we going to get water out? How watertight is this going to be? So a lot of times we just caulk it right away just to kind of ease them into it, a little peace of mind, all while kind of setting the expectation that even with the caulking, there's still a chance that you're going to get something coming out of there, especially in a smaller space. Neo angles in particular, where it's there's only 2 feet from the shower head to the edge of the glass. I mean, there's definitely there's going to be an issue. I mean, I had a guy send pictures of a shower yesterday. It was a curbless shower, and he had a linear drain on the front end of it. And I was like, dude, I can put something in here. I said, but you're definitely getting water out. So I don't know. I mean, but it's one of those things, right? We can say what we can say 100 times over, and whether or not they want to hear it is kind of not up to us. And a lot of times it seems like people don't listen all the time. I don't know if they can or they just don't want to, but it's always the the description, the explanation, and then the questions come after everything that you've just said, and you got to say it all over again.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
People hear what they want to hear sometimes.
That's it. That's it. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and for me, it's very little bit. I mean, for a lot of my career as a business owner, I was actually doing the installations. So it's different when you're the one doing the installation. Um, and that was kind of my approach. I mean, I could like really, really educate the customer from the sale all the way through the installation, and even being on site during the installation to say, hey, this is where I'm at. Do you want this or do you want that? And even having the flexibility of saying, look, let's do this. If it doesn't, if it isn't holding water as much as you want, I'll come back and add silicone later. And if you're the one doing it, it's easy to say that. If you're sending out a crew, it's a lot different. And when I've had employees going out to install without me, it was a lot different. It was like, yeah, make it look good. Because I can't really expect a technician to be able to, to talk, to do all the like psychology stuff that you really have to do with a customer to like kind of talk them down off the ledge and all that. It's really quicker just to caulk it. But when I would try to convince them not to do that, it wasn't because I was too lazy to caulk. It was because I know that like it looks so much better. I mean, you're not going to have to cut out moldy caulking. I don't care how like mildew resistant your caulk is. In a few years it's going to be moldy. You're going to have to cut it out and re-caulk it. That's just the truth. And like why, you're getting this beautiful frameless heavy glass shower enclosure. I mean, if you can do it without having to use silicone, it's better. So it's varied, over the course of many years for me.
I think it's important to document if you're not the owner doing it. One thing we learned that was really big, and actually it was one of our staff members that came up with this. He started, when there was repair slips, we started recording and tracking the different types of leaks that there were in hopes of finding narrowing it down. Is it a certain type of shower? Is it a certain crew of installers? Is it a certain type of hardware? And that helps kind of mitigate some of those, because you kind of lose sight. All new businesses coming in, you're dealing with a million other, oh, it's a fix. I'm going to be in that area. I'll just fix it. And you kind of just keep kicking the can down the road. But if you can collect some of that data along the way, sometimes you'll find a cluster of commonalities that, might point you in a direction to, change a process or help coach up an install crew, or maybe it's a sales problem. They're not checking the pitch. To Chris's point, it's easy to say these things when you're the owner because nobody's going to pay attention as much as you are, because at the end of the day, that money's coming out of your pocket.
Right.
But when you're putting other people in there, it's even more expensive. So it's important to, everybody's going to have leaks when your new crews are going out and they're trying new things, and no two job sites are the same, none. But if you can collect that data, it might help shine a light on something that you were kind of overlooking while you were fixing these problems. Like, we're real big on that, the data collection.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge. No matter what you're doing. I mean, whether it's the installation process or any process.
I tell this I've told this to, what's his name, Michael up north, and a few other people. Our takeoff sheet is the first piece of business when we go out there, and the information on that, from the name and what we're asking for, the address, and then what style door and panel, single door. We've kind of put all these codes on them. And over time, as you collect more, you start realizing, oh, zip code 34018, buys 5-foot door and panels in chrome and brushed nickel at a multiple of, 10 times any other area. We need to flood that zip code with, I've said this 100 times, flood that zip code with marketing. And this all stems from the data that's collected on your takeoff sheet, on your repair work order. There's a lot of thought that goes behind those. You're not just getting the name for the address to go do the install and the approval for the credit card. There's a lot of marketing stuff that can come out of all that information, if it's thought about.
Yeah. So true.
But the repairs, we realized certain doors were just leaking like a sieve, and for a while we weren't even thinking about it. We just send somebody out there. When in reality, we needed to kind of change the process in which this particular door was being installed. And that cut it out almost overnight. And think about the phone calls, the potential mad customer. Not all customers get mad when there's a leak, but some do, depending on what side of the process they're on or how the rest of the construction's gone. But either way, it saved a lot of money sending crews back out there you never want to send a crew back out if you don't have to, unless it's for another door.
No doubt. That is the worst. That is the worst thing,
But it's easy to just go fix it and move on to the next one and be like, okay, we'll do better next time. But, it's almost sometimes it's the definition of insanity. You just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
But that was a big lesson for us. I think it's important to collect that data.
Yeah. And for me, even when I was in the situation where I had employees going out to do it, I was still the guy. I was always the repair guy, right? So if because I wasn't going to send the crew back to caulk a leak, no way. So when we'd have that conversation, I get that text and hey, there's the door is leaking. Then I'd respond, oh yeah, it's like we told you before. It's like these things aren't watertight. And and then I'll come out and add some silicone.
You can judge on the temperature of the phone call what type of response needs to be had. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And if you can't hear that, that's something that you should be paying attention to.
Learn to hear it.
Yeah. You can almost hear the anxiety sometimes. It's not even worth explaining how we got to this point. I'll just come fix it because I know you're not going to listen to anything I say at this point.
Yeah, because if you go back out there and you do add some silicone and it's really not any better, they're gonna appreciate the fact that you came out.
Sometimes they just want to be heard.
Yep.
And showing up quelches that.
Totally agree with that.
Some of my best referral customers came from acting on something like that, under my breath, I'm like, this motherfucker, I don't need to go. I told them this was going to happen, but then you go out there and, before you know it, karma kicks in and he's like, I'm building another spec house with 7 doors in it. It's like, oh God, I'm glad it came out here.
That's true. Absolutely true.
Yeah. Most people just want to be heard.
They want to matter. They want to know that you care about them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
None of my doors ever leak, just saying.
No, I know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
One thing I've gotten comfortable doing is letting the builder or the homeowner know, if their curb's not sloped the right way, letting them know, hey, water flows downhill and this curb is pitched away from your shower. So water's going to hit this and it's going to go downhill. Downhill on this shower setup right now is outside. So we can fix this now or we can fix it later. But just so you know, the water's going to hit this glass and it's going to run downhill. So I always let them know too that the shower is essentially like a curtain rod. It's just stopping the water from getting outside. And then from there, it should all drain back into the shower. So there's, they kind of understand the simplicity and hey, this is just a splash guard. Essentially, water should hit it and go back into the shower and water goes downhill. So if downhill is towards your shower, you're in good shape. And then the hard thing is telling them that if it's not, because we know what happens if it's not, the work that's got to be put in to make it correct. Nobody wants to hear that crap, especially when it's time for a shower door. But if you don't tell them, it's going to be your problem afterwards, and they're going to wonder, you're going to be back out there real soon, and then they're going to say, why didn't you tell me this, or why didn't somebody know this, you know?
Yeah.
So breaking the unfortunate news to them and giving them to make, essentially putting the decision on them to fix it now or worry about it later, you know?
Yeah, and I've
So,
seen people elect to like fix it, to have the tile, like have the curb fixed.
yeah,
You
we
know,
have two.
which
Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes if it's like a solid surface, they just pop it off and repitch it. But if it's a tiled curb, you know the amount of work that's got to go into that. Or, and if you can maybe offer some solutions like, hey, it's going to go downhill, it's going to come out, but you know, they make these little crescent moon shaped thresholds that you can put down to help mitigate it, and maybe it'll go back in after it builds up a little bit. Something to help. We can, you know, we can try this first if you want, but other than that, the solution is kind of obvious.
yeah, there's a product just like that at glassgadget.com. Little self-adhesive clear plastic. It's pretty
Go
cool. It's
ahead.
got the VHB tape already applied to it. So you just like cut it to length, pull the VHB tape, stick it down, bam. Does a pretty good job of keeping some water in there. You know? So just
Do you
saying,
silicone around that?
glassgadget.com. What's that?
Silicone around that?
Oh wait, see that one more time.
Do you silicone around that
Oh
threshold?
yeah,
when you put it
yeah,
down?
yeah. I usually do. I run a bead of silicone in and out.
Okay.
You know?
Just checking.
Yeah.
If you're putting something like that down, you might as well go ahead and throw a bunch of silicone down too.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You know, I mean, by that point, you know, start
Yeah.
bailing, you know, get out some buckets and start bailing.
Our philosophy too is, I mean, the best way for water to not get out is just for it to not be there. So we do the Mr. Miyagi, no water, just no be there, you know? We don't
Just
want
don't
water.
use the shower.
Yeah, don't even use your shower. Just
It's
look at
just
it.
for looks.
You don't have to, you'll never have to squeegee it or anything if you don't use it. But
That's true.
the best way for it, you know, is just to silicone the damn thing and don't get water in there in the first place. Something I've seen that our guys have done that drives me nuts is when they're putting the clamps together, they'll smash the gaskets and they kind of sleeve over where the screw goes. And if you smash that little sleeve over, it creates a leak point for the clear gaskets to go. And that's sometimes I've seen that a lot. When we have leaks on the clamps, they're smashing the clear gaskets together, and it doesn't create a good seal for the clamp, because ideally that clamp seals and keeps water from getting in there. But if you don't let it kind of like sleeve over the screw sleeve, then it doesn't get a good seal. So I've seen that a lot where they'll smash them. So
So do you mean just like over tightening it?
no, like the clear gaskets from CRL,
Right.
they have like a small little sleeve that goes around where
Like the little collar that
yes,
that's
and
yeah, it made the
yeah,
design
and
to
if you
protect the glass from the screw.
yeah, exactly. But then sometimes the gaskets, if you don't like actually kind of feel it out and put them to where they actually sleeve over each other and are like, because the one side that receives the screw, you can compress the gasket on the inside and it doesn't create a good seal because that's getting compressed down and it's not actually sleeving over. You
Just
can
leaving
kind
a
of
little
feel,
gap or something, right?
yes, leaving a little gap for stuff to
Yeah.
get into. It's not letting it go all the way tight. So you're creating a spot for water to get in there. And you can, you know, like I've done it a million times, you can feel when that is sleeved over correctly if you take the time to kind of feel it out and position your gasket correctly and make sure that it's actually sleeving over. So that's something that I've in the field noticed. And then when I go to fix leaks every now and then, you can see, oh, well, this thing's all smashed. Um, you know, that's a good possibility. So that's just one thing I've noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there are different techniques for caulking those clips too. I mean, some people fill the whole like finger notch with silicone. And
I do
then
that.
Well, I just found out on a video apparently that there's tons of ways to caulk. Sometimes You got tons of different ways to do it, you know.
There's at least
Every-
100 wrong ways.
Everybody's got their, exactly. What is it? You ask 9 people and you get 10 different opinions, something like that.
That's right.
We've been working on trying to figure out the exact right words to use, because even when, so Mike will go out and he'll talk to a homeowner, and I was there one time while he's talking to this homeowner about the potential for leak, and her eyes are getting wider and wider. He's making it sound like it's going to be like a waterfall coming out of the shower, and he had just come from a fix, and it was just top of mind for him. So, like, what's the right way to give them enough information that, here's the realistic situation, but not get them overly concerned and worried. And then the second thing we've been doing is, like Daniel said, noticing the curb pitch and then documenting that on the quote and saying, we noticed that the curb is pitched. We recommend that you fix it. We were trying to fix for like the third time this leak, and the guy was just so irritated and he's so unhappy with us. And the third time we went out there, his wife came in to kind of say, this is unacceptable. And Mike showed her the quote that said, this is going to be pitched wrong and water's probably going to come out. At that point, she looked at him and gave him this look, and Mike just made his way out of the house, and we didn't hear from them again. So that comes in handy.
Mhm.
Well, you have to have that conversation with them, when it's wrong, you have to have that conversation, and then you have to back that up with it being written on the quote. So if I'm measuring one, I will mention that on the email body. Plus, we also have a lot of stuff in our documents that's attached that talk about having, the proper conditions, including curb pitch. So, you have to bombard them in different ways with that disclaimer.
Yeah, you can also tell them every different way, and then they still won't hear
That is a true story.
they'll hear what they want to hear. I had a customer that we had to use a header just from the way the shower was laid out. It had to have a header, and so our measurer told the lady that there had to be a header. The description of the shower said that it was including a metal header, and there was a picture of the header. And so the guy is calling me, he's like, my wife burst into tears when she saw this shower, and we wanted frameless. We couldn't believe it had a header. We said we wanted frameless. And as we're talking, I said, I'm as nice as I could. I said, this is going to sound really bad, but I'm really trying to figure it out, because we told you, we wrote it, and we even gave you a picture. I'm really trying to figure out what else could we have done. Do you have some pointers? And he didn't come up with anything. And then I turned around and said, and listen, we have a shower in the Street of Dreams right now that has a header on it. It's not ugly. You don't have an ugly shower. You have a gorgeous shower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It actually looks cleaner a lot of times. You don't have to have as many clamps all over the place. So in our showroom, we have a neo angle with a header and a neo angle without, that has a transom and all these clamps all over it. And I think the header looks far better.
Oh.
And by the way, our definition many years ago, when the frameless doors were new, doors with headers were still considered frameless showers.
They
I
are.
think the big reason why people think that's now a frame is because of Pinterest and House and all this, stuff where they see all this stuff. So the customers have now defined what's frameless and what isn't frameless.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, you can't let them do that.
right. I think in the industry, well, I think in the industry, that might be one of those things that we have to point out in our co-op or in this group that we have here, is that kind of education to the customer. What's considered frameless,
Mhm.
and make that very make that a major point.
What's the correct answer to that question?
A frameless glass shower is any shower made with 3/8 or 1/2 inch glass. The reason
Mhm.
it's called frameless is because it's thick enough to hold itself up without the need for additional metal. However, metal is needed to attach the panel or attach the door so that it's secure and safe.
Perfect. I like that.
Great job. That's exactly right.
It's the beginning of every speech that I've ever given about
Hmm.
shower doors.
Right.
That's right.
Frameless is synonymous with heavy glass.
Mhm.
They mean the same thing. No matter how much metal you attach, it's still, if it's a heavy glass enclosure, that's
Mhm.
synonymous with frameless. Yeah. Good pitch. Oh man, we
That's great.
should get a script of that and use that.
Well, on the co-op page for the
Yeah.
homeowners information, that should be,
That
exactly
should
the same thing.
Ah, it turns out, Dad, that we are co-op members, and you can write a blog post and you can submit it to Brian, who is on the head of the committee for content, and
Oh,
can review it and post it to the website.
Yeah.
I am so glad you brought that up.
Members helping members. That's what we're all about.
Awesome.
there you go.
I like it. I like it.
All right.
Trouble tomorrow, but
So have we said everything there is to say about caulking a shower enclosure?
I think so.
Okay. What do we want to talk about now? Should we talk about sports? Not politics. Definitely not politics.
I'd like to hear about Joshua buying this business and what all went into that. And that's kind of some more business stuff there, but like the business side of buying out another glass company and stuff like that. That's pretty fun stuff, to be honest, to me. That
Sure.
part, I don't know if we have time for that.
We do have time for that.
I can make it brief, under 15 minutes at least.
All right, cool.
I was looking for a business to buy. I had a certain kind of criteria in terms of size and earnings. I wanted a service business. My family business was actually auto glass, so I worked in that company for about 7 years. It goes back to like 1945, so I've been around a long time, and then we sold that company. So I guess subconsciously, maybe I had this like comfort level with glass in general. So maybe I was a little predisposed to it, but I also worked in real estate for a couple years doing development, and I distinctly remember it was always difficult to get like a good, reliable shower door guy, and that always kind of stuck with me. So when this opportunity came up, I recalled that, and I figured there's probably a lot of opportunity in the space. It's very hyper fragmented, at least in our market. A lot of just smaller shops. So for those reasons, I thought it would be very interesting.
So you just started shopping to see what was available in your area? I mean, did you stay like in your area?
I did, yeah. I wanted to stay in Greater Boston. I have a family now, and we weren't moving. But yeah, I worked with somebody actually that helped me do direct outreach, proprietary outreach to different companies. It was close to buying a flooring business, that didn't work out. And this came up, and the owners are really great people, and they're still actually at the company as well.
Cool.
So it's yeah, it was an interesting period.
So now, did you make like an agreement for them to stay on for a certain amount of time? A lot of times when people buy a business, the owner will stay on for like a year, kind of on salary or something like that as a consultant to help, make the transition. Was it something like that, or just kind of an indefinite kind of stay?
Yeah, more the latter, Chris.
Cool.
We have an employment agreement, but there was no time frame. And I sort of caught them. They were 57 and 58, husband and wife. So I caught them a little before they were really looking to sell. So it worked out where they still wanted to, at least the husband wanted to put in a few more years.
Right.
And turns out he and I have got along really well. We complement each other. He's allowing me to do my thing. And so
Hope so.
it's a success story, at least so far. Most of the stories I hear go the other way, where either the owner wants to get the hell out or the buyer wants the owner to get the hell out.
Right.
How did you go about valuing their business, and in terms of financing, was there any owner financing involved, or did you ask for a percentage up front and then pay out over time? Just curious.
Yeah, I bought this business at around just under 3 times the EBITDA. So like the owner's cash flow less like a manager's salary, basically. And that was generally a range of stuff in this size company that I was finding would make a deal. So maybe two and a half times the true cash flow, something like that. And yes, I mean, I used an SBA loan. So that was a pretty good process. They allow you to loan up to like 80-90%, really, if you want to. And then I had a 10% seller note from the seller. With an SBA loan, you cannot do an earnout, but you can do a seller note, seller financing.
Was there property associated with this, or was it an asset-based sale, without property, where maybe goodwill, dominates the price and valuation?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, what you described. So it was an asset sale. I did not buy the real estate. And so, yes, you try as a buyer, you want to get as much of the purchase price in assets as possible to depreciate them more quickly. The goodwill depreciates over a longer period. But yeah, so this was an asset sale.
Very interesting. Yeah. So is this your first time buying a business? Have you bought a business before?
This is my first time buying it. I knew I wanted to get back into business ownership when I was doing real estate. I was sort of going project to project, and I didn't love that aspect. So yeah, it's my first. I mean, my grand plan was to like maybe do a little roll up, buy a couple in the area, put them together. But it's a lot more work just running one company, getting that right.
Yeah, most of the people here know that's true.
So what's the first 6? You said 11 months or something like that? How long?
Yes, 11 January.
What's it been like buying a business, and like what's your role in it, and like what are you doing, and like how crazy has it been for you, essentially?
A lot of questions, Dan.
Yeah, the first 2-3 weeks, I thought I made the worst decision of my life. I don't know for those that have had panic attacks before, but there were some of those.
Having one right now.
It was just very new, a lot coming at me. It was a slow period of time, January. So I was like, why is the phone not ringing? But I mean, I'm fortunate so far in that I don't need to be there every single minute of every day. There's a pretty good team there. But I choose to be there, pretty much every day, full days. And to answer your question, I've just been learning as much as I can, and I'm getting more involved kind of in some of the day-to-day. And yeah, just a lot to learn. So I've been trying to really learn the most.
What are you doing to make the guys or the people, the staff that's there accept you, like being the new owner, like, and how's that going? Like that's got to be a big change for them. How are you making it good for them and making it work so that they stay, or have you had to get rid of anybody that is not right for the company, like somebody that you could just tell is not who you want to be there, or just, how's that process going? You being the owner for the guys that have been there for a long time.
Yeah, one of the top guys, I bought it on a Friday, and one of the top guys didn't show up on Monday and Tuesday. And there's 5 technicians. So I was like, great, I lost 20% of my workforce in a weekend. But he came around. I think the best way to do it was to just show up every day, be curious, treat them with respect, let them know I was, for real. I'm not just in there for a paycheck. And, I get in there, I move glass when I need to. I go on the truck sometimes. I'll answer the phones. So just showing them that I was committed and getting to know them. Some need more reassurance, constant almost, than others. Yeah. So learning, I guess, the personalities, big time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. I'll be working on a transition, but it's a known transition. So that's a big difference, coming in as a buyer, not knowing anybody versus being somebody that's family and just transitioning, without just us presumptively, everybody just knows it. So that's an interesting aspect, just coming in and buying a business. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm sort of curious how people, for those that are hiring or have hired technicians, what you have found the best route to be, whether it's, I don't know if poaching is the right word, but are you comfortable, taking from other, or talking with people at other companies? Do you look from people in other trades? What's been most effective, I guess?
My philosophy is if it's from another person, another glass company, let them come to us and not actually seek them out. Like, let them come to us. We won't go to them and seek them out. And then even, we haven't done this yet, but I think it'd be a good practice. Like, even when they do come searching, like seeking us out, like maybe even talking to the business owner, if you know the business owner, like, hey, this person's reaching out and wanting to come work here. Are you okay with me talking to them? And most likely they're going to say yes, because regardless, they're looking for a job. So they're, but just still asking permission, like, hey man, do you mind if I talk to this person? Because then it'll keep your relations good, because I think that's a good practice, let them come to you. And then even if you really want to go the extra step, ask the business owner or the person who's in charge there, like, hey, do you mind if I entertain this person? They're seeking employment elsewhere. I don't know why, but do you mind? Like, and if it's a good person, they might be hesitant, but still, ultimately, a good business owner will let them do what they need to do for themselves. You would think.
Thank you.
Josh, what we're doing right now is trying to bring our guys up the ones that have been technicians, are regular installers. And these guys are looking for more opportunities. So we're trying to give them more opportunity, either sales or some kind of a managerial type role or something. So we're looking for people who want to be helpers, young people who don't know anything. That way we can train them the way we want to. We do have somebody who's committed to come on in December. I'm kind of worried about him because he does have experience. And in a way that, he might come in with bad habits or things. And we've had those conversations, but, there's a lot of things I think that could go awry. He's kind of has an entrepreneurial spirit. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, what if he starts to think about doing his own thing and he's going to be mixing and mingling with my guys, so that's kind of that catch-22 there. I mean, this guy has a lot of depth of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of things that could help us, but I do have those concerns. So to answer your question from my perspective, bring some of your guys up, show them that you trust them and you value them, which might help a lot. And then also bring in some newer guys and let them train them.
And last week's call, Greg Stoll from Clinton Glass, I think it was last week's call. He had some really good pointers about how he interviews and how all of his technicians will interview a new person. We actually did that and it worked great. And we just hired a new kid and he's really young. He's like 19 and he started this week. He is awesome already, just stellar, so curious. So thank you, Greg. I mean, that was great advice. So
awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is a topic that comes up pretty frequently, as you can imagine, in this group of like, how to find good help. And so you're in the right place. I've heard so many great pieces of advice about this. Yeah, I mean, we could probably fill like a couple of hours of just
almost dead.
Yeah. But yeah, those are some great takes right there. Bam. No extra charge. No extra charge. Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of our time. It's been a great talk. Good idea, Daniel. That was actually quite interesting. Thanks, Joshua, for your willingness to be the new guy and tell your story. And that's awesome. That's what makes this group really great, in my humble opinion. Be sure to join us next week. You can join this anytime. Just go to showerdoorprofessionals.com and there's all the information you need to get on the list. You can get an email to remind you to come on and join us, and hope to see you again next week. Have a great rest of your week.
Good night.